Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's outlook, firstly, we're going to start with the Asian markets before we continue with the most important. The shares were mostly lower on Wednesday, despite gains in the U.S. market on the back of the first presidential debate and beaten on consumer confidence. Japan's Nikkei 225 index was down about 1.5% as Japanese shares were likely under pressure from renewed strength in the Japanese yen. The yen climbed as high as 100.23 against the dollar on Wednesday morning after rising to levels near 100.90 on Tuesday afternoon session. As of course, a beat on the U.S. consumer confidence index, which hit 104.1 in September and was notably higher than the 99 print expected, also underpinned sentiment statements. Now, the dollar index, which measures the greenback against a back of major currencies, traded at 95.578, which was a touch higher than its last close at 95.435, but was still down from levels above the 96 mark in the previous week. Also tracking the European stocks, they were higher in the morning trade Wednesday, with investors' sentiment buoyed by higher oil prices and a rally in the banking sector. Looking at the most important pan-European stock 600 index was higher with all sectors and major bourses in positive territory, which of course held steady with the shared currency. The euro was 1.1209, languishing below this week's high of 1.1280 set on Monday. The euro had retreated on Tuesday as share prices in Deutsche Bank, Germany's largest lender, fell to a record low on concerns about a $14 billion demand from the U.S. Department of Justice. Well, of course, we're expecting the Fed's policy statement, which saw last week, suggested that the likelihood of a rise in U.S. interest rates in December, money market futures have been trimming the positions on December hike and possibility. Of course, the futures are now pricing in less than 50% chance on a rate increase by December, compared to the over 60% after the Fed's policy meeting last week. Also today, we're expecting the Fed Chair Janet Yellen, which will give semi-annual testimony later in the day before the Congressional Committee, though her main focus is expected to be financial regulations. Meanwhile, of course, we're looking at the gold prices in the commodity sector. They inched slightly lower on Wednesday to touch a one-week low after suffering its biggest single-day loss in nearly a month on the previous session. On a firmer dollar, of course, we're seeing the safe haven asset slid near 1% on Tuesday, its biggest single session percentage loss since August 30. As of course, investors viewed that the Democrat Hillary Clinton had won the first U.S. presidential debate against the Republican rival Donald Trump, boosting the appetite for riskier assets like equities. Gold slid about 0.2% today to 1324.71 an ounce in early European trade on Wednesday, and of course touched a bottom of 32.22.30 at the lowest level since September 21st. Holdings of the SPDR Gold Trust, the world's largest gold-backed exchange-traded fund, fell about 0.22% to 949.14 tons on Tuesday. Tracking also the importance of today of the oil prices in the energy sector, they were mixed on Wednesday after sharp losses in the previous session, as industry data showed a surprise draw in U.S. crude stocks, although worries of a lack of agreement among producers to curb output kept lid on the gains. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up about 11 cents at $44.79 a barrel after climbing as high as 45.09 in earlier trading. The benchmark ended down $1.26 or about 2.7% in the previous session. Members of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries will hold informal talks today at 1400 GMT, as its members are also meeting non-OPEC producers on the sidelines of the three-day International Energy Forum being held in Algiers. Now, this meeting ends today. And of course, The most important news of the calendar today is the durable good orders coming out at 12:30 GMT, followed by a speech from the Fed Chair Janet Yellen at 1400 and crude oil stock change from the Energy Information Administration coming out at 14:30. That's all of the most important of today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.